Minasan, welcome to another episode of Outer Space Reviews. It's your boy, Chris, in the space that is out of. Today's episode, we got all the MMPR stuff that I have in my collection out. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. Look over here. And we got Big Green. So in today's episode, I'm just going to regale to you the story of how I got into Power Rangers and how it influenced my collector's journey. Take a seat. It's time for story time. Our story begins 30 years ago. I'm Australian, I'm part Indonesian, so at one point in my life I was living in Indonesia. How I got into Power Rangers? Actually, Kamen Rider. In 93, I was watching Black RX. Because it's 93 at the time, Power Rangers was out. Now, it was already dubbed in Indonesian. But yeah, Power Rangers was also on TV, and I was just like, wow, this is also cool too. And then I moved back home to Australia, where I would continue watching the show. Tommy was introduced, season 2 came out, 3 of the original cast left. They got new cast, Ichigo Kurosaki.
I think that pretty much sums it up.
I was living at Sydney at the time, and then the Power Ranger movie came out. I was like, wow, this is cool, because I'm a little boy who's just like, oh, this is so interesting. Seeing that it was filmed down in Sydney and I didn't even know. Like, holy dooly, it's like, oh my God, Sydney Harbour, Centre Point Tower, oh my gosh, it's in Australia, it's done in Sydney. Where was I? Why wasn't I seeing this? They filmed some episodes of the series in Australia whilst they were filming the movie. So the big example is apparently the wedding episode. Basically, I only saw what was ever on television. It moved to Foxtel because it was in the Fox Kids lineup. Now, I didn't have Fox Kids with Foxtel, we just had the basic cartoons, not the Fox Kids channel. Oh well, so I might have missed a few seasons there. Eventually, it came back onto Fox 8 or something like that because I think Fox Kids died. So then I got to watch Power Rangers again, but that was when it was getting dangerously close to the Disney era. But before that, I was able to watch Wild Force and Time Force. They're all called Force. Then it moved to Jetix, Disney Channel, whatever you want to call it, whatever it was. So I hadn't watched it for a few years at that point. So then we basically split apart for a bit. Then we move ahead a few more years. So as we know, Hurricaneja slash Ninja Storm Force was in about 2002. Let me check my math. 2003. So I think there was about at least a 4 to 5 year gap where I didn't really watch it. Then in about 2000 and how old are you again? So in about 2009, some stuff happened in my life. We don't need to get into it. So I decided to put on the nostalgia glasses and be like, oh, let's watch season 1 of MMPR again. And a lot of people to this day have not removed those nostalgia glasses. Took them off straight away. I was like, wow, this is Now, I always knew as a kid there was always weird footage of Japanese people floating around. Maybe I should give this Japanese thing a go, because at this point in time I was watching the animes with the Narutos and the Bleach and all that other Shonen Jump stuff and Urotsuki Doji and Boku no Picos and stuff like that. Oh, Director Sun's giving me weird looks. So I was like, I will watch them in Japanese. So the first show I watched at the time, I think I was watching Go Ondra, so that's why Go Ondra was a big influence for getting back into Power Rangers slash getting into Sentai. At that time, Shinkenger had already started watching it. It did a crossover episode with Kamen Rider Decade. I'm not saying I'm a Kamen Rider Decade stan. No, 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 no. Did help reinvigorate something deep inside of me. Because after the Shinkenger crossover that they advertised, I was like, all right, I'll watch the Decade episode where it actually crosses over with Shinkenger. In the next episode preview, they were like, he's going to the Kamen Rider Black and Black RX world. I was just like, core memory unlocked. I remember those things because that's the thing I watched when I was a little Billy. Still don't understand what's happening in Decade because you have to have watched all other 9 series. So I basically did. Now it all makes sense in Decade for once, but not really. So I was like, looks like I'm in. And then I basically started with Kamen Rider W as the first series that I watched from start to end. I made up for lost time by buying everything. Not really everything, I'm missing so much. So as you can see here, most of this stuff is actually pretty new. The only old things are, bought this one in 2009. So this is a very old costume. It is an Aniki, for those at home going, oh, I wonder where he bought the costume from, or where is it? It's an Anarchy. With the Dragon Dagger, you can see it's broken. I broke it on the first day I got it because I'm an idiot. What did I do? Held it, started flicking it around and dropped it like that, and now I broke another piece off. I broke that off. Yeah. It's been broken for 13 years and I broke it more because I'm a fucking idiot. At that point, when I was getting started after buying that, I got hit up by one of my associates. He was like, hey, someone's selling this in Australia for $100. I was like, what is it? It was a basically 90% complete Ultra Megazord OG Power Rangers MMPR Season 1. Threw money at that bad boy like, now I got to get the second season and the third season. I only got like 25 seasons to collect. Shit. Over here, I also managed to pick up one of the Dragon Daggers. So this is an original Power Rangers release from '93. I think I got it for cheap too, so I was like, yes. Also managed to pick up one of the Power Blasters. Now, originally, these did come in a 2-pack set, so you get the blaster plus the morpher. So I was missing something, which was I got myself the Power Morpher set. This one was from eBay. I got it in the UK. I didn't get it while it's in the UK. Got it from the UK. Someone was selling it for 60 Australian at the time. I don't know how much that was, but I was just like, buy. So it actually came with all 5 coins, the morpher as is. I was like, sweet. Repainted it in gold. If you look really closely, you can see how bad of a job I did of it. So I got it all painted up like the Japanese version. And then on eBay, someone was selling a reproduction of the Japanese Dragon Ranger coin. So I got that. So now I got a Green Ranger coin for it too. So I got all 5 and a reproduction coin. Now, at this time, I was collecting some of the other series stuff, so I was collecting all the figure arts, that's how I got into them. So then, at this time, RPM was also airing. That's when Disney were like, we're not going to continue. And then they started doing those revamped, redone episodes, done comic book style. And they started bringing out some more merchandise. I don't want any of it, except for one thing. The Dragon Dagger, that basically was like a lightsaber at the end of it. And here it is. I didn't get it, and now it's worth $200. This came out in 2013, so it's been 10 years in box, unopened. And then they announced the Dragon Ranger to go with it too. Boom! As you can see, I am holding 2, and if you look in the background, it's another pack. But if you really had been paying attention to this whole episode and looking, you'd notice there's a red Ranger in this one and a green Ranger in that one, when it's a red packaging and a green Ranger packaging. So because I had a spare one, I made it that episode where the Green Ranger gives his shield to the Red Ranger, but he still keeps the armbands. You gotta watch the episode. I pretty much like double checked it. Now you're also probably looking in the background going, look at all those morphers that he has. Yes, this is around the time that I actually moved to Canada for 2 years, or as they say in Le French Canada, 2 years. Managed to get a job at Toys R Us. So, sweet discount on top of sales. Oh, buddy. That's when Bandai was like, yeah, we're going to announce the Legacy Collection for their 20th anniversary. Yep, 2023. The math checks out. So they got the Power Morpher, followed by the Tommy version Power Morpher for the Green and White Ranger. I used that discount like crazy because they also came out with the Dragon Dagger. That cost me 100 Canadian, but I remember using a discount on it, so I tried to push it down when it was on sale. I was like, oh, I've got to do it. And said discount enabled me to get 4 of the regular ones and 2 of the Tommy ones. So on eBay, they say they go for about $400 each, so this is the one I take out of the box and then lick it. Simultaneously, Bluefin of North America announced that they're going to release the Zyuranger figure arts. They're going to re-release them under the Power Ranger line for their 20th anniversary. I said I already had this one. So what did I do? I got all of them, except the White Ranger, and the Red Ranger, because I was like, I already have it. But that's not how it works. You'll have one figure that's different from the rest. So unfortunately, I then had to go out and purchase the Red Ranger figure much later and having to pay an eBay premium. But the good news is, as you saw in the room tour video up there, have them all except the White Ranger. I'll live. It's all season 1. but my Red Ranger is signed by the original Red Ranger, which name I'm not going to say because of those things that happened. P. Bandai announced that they're going to make a new toy line called the Super Sentai Artisan line. They were going to reuse their molds that they used in the North American release of the Power Morpher to make the Dino Buckler and Dragon Buckler. These two bad boys are worth at least $200 to $300 a piece. Why is the Red Ranger one cool? Is they actually, for the first time in Japan and North America, an official release of the Dino Crystal, but it's only the Red Ranger one. Did they release more Dino Crystals? No. They did release more medals, so you can replace just the Red Ranger coin, because they didn't give you all of them. Or did they? I don't remember. I'm not going to open it up at this point in time. They wanted you to buy this so you could have all the medals again. It's a pretty cool set. We'll review it another time. In the comments, do you want me to review it? Do you? Do you? Do you? And then the Dragon Buckler came out pretty much a few months after that, which also included a Red Ranger coin, so you could have the armored Tyranno Ranger. Now, as you saw, they released the Legacy Dragon Dagger. Japan also decided to start their own line called the Proplica line. Once again, reused the molds and did a Legacy Jusoken. Jusoken, there we go. Jusoken in a really cool stand. I have it, I think it's somewhere down there. Same mold, really good stand. Later down the track when Hasbro got it, they're like, oh, Japan did stands for their toys and also in the series. Let's sell ours with stands, which they did. So I got that hidden somewhere too because MMPR, Green Ranger. As you all know, there is a comic book line. I got most of them up until a few years ago. I stopped at about when Mighty Morphin and Power Rangers both became separate lines. Once it got to the Altarian Wars, I was just like, now I did manage to walk into a comic book store that is no longer open in Australia. I know it's Halo, I know it's not the best, but they were selling it for 50 bucks. I know, 50 bucks now. A variant, this is number 2 of the Dragon Zord in 9.8 condition. I was just like, 50 bucks, hell yeah. I have each volume up until when I quit. I have some of the variants. I have 2 of the Volume 0 helmet ones. So I got Red Ranger and Pink Ranger. I managed to pick them up a few years later. Now, at this point, Bandai was ready to bounce from the Power Ranger franchise. They're ready to sell off. Started releasing some other items like the Power Blaster and the Saba Saber. Didn't get those. Couldn't be bothered. Now they're worth a lot. And then Hasbro took over and they started doing their own thing. Now, the only items I got from the Hasbro Lightning collection are monsters. I like monsters. I like the monsters. So, only thing is, a lot of these I didn't start collecting until last year, around this time last year. So it's April now. I got them at cheap prices. Some of them in Australia haven't been the best to collect. They're 60 bucks a piece. That's a lot in a way. But some of them I actually picked up in Singapore. And then the rest I've picked up on Amazon. Go Bean Soup. I don't really care about the figurines with their American actors on it. I prefer the Japanese. Ooh, controversial, I know. So the only figures I've got are the blue and yellow figures. Blue I got for really, really cheap. Yellow came with Scorpina. I wanted it for Lamia, so I could have it with Griforza. So we got the Lightning Collection Dragon Dagger. Pretty cool. Got it for a decent price. Got it for a seller in South Australia. If you know, you know. I haven't actively been trying to collect the Lightning Collection role-playing weapons. On the weekend, there was the Power Sword at Supernova from Pop Culture. It's $400 and they wanted it for $320. I'm good. But now you can also get the Power Daggers from EB Games, Zing, $220. And Power Lance too. Where's the axe and bow? Where do they combine? I don't know. That's just all the MMPR stuff I've been collecting since getting back into it. It's been fun. It has been a bit nostalgic seeing these characters again. We're gonna get this new episode that's out. Congrats on 30 years, Power Rangers. Thanks for getting me into your crap. Power Rangers got me into Kamen Rider again. Essentially it. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned something about me. Hope you learned something about when toys were coming out around that time. I don't know. Remember to like and subscribe. Bye bye. Oh. Ah! 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 Eat! Eat!